there was a sort of group of girls that I met in my first couple of weeks, and they're genuinely still my best friends now. And we're talking 6 years ago that I met them, so that's really nice that, that's how we all sort of met and, yeah, became friends.
Like my dad was saying, I did quite a lot of research beforehand, but that's always going to be different to going to the actual place. Obviously, everyone's trying to put their best foot forward online. But for me, it was, I always knew that with institutions, it mainly comes down to the people who teach it that's going to make the most difference, especially with psychology being, most psychology courses are obviously, if they're APA accredited, the syllabus will be consistent over the first 2 years. So regardless of where you go, you're getting the same material. So the main selling points for me were the modules on offer on third year, and the researchers and lecturers who are teaching you, and how the third year dissertation is handled. So those are the main questions I had going on the open day, and obviously the more generic student life stuff, like is the campus nice, is the student life good. So when I went on the open day, those obviously the questions I were asking, and I was very aware that just because a university is ranked highly, I mean the arbitrary rankings anyway, but usually universities sometimes they just get ranked, and people think, oh well, one must be the best. But a lot of the times it's mainly, if they have strict research output that's brilliant, that's great, but not necessarily for the students, because then you have lecturers who are going to the lectures because they have to, and it's in their contract, and they're not really interested in what they teach. And from the people that I was speaking to at the open day and the welcome talk that I had, and we had like a mock lecture, all of that stuff was really good, and I got the sense that the people teaching it actually cared about the subject quite a lot and cared about passing that knowledge on. And I also, the third year modules that were being offered, I was really excited about. Animal Minds was one of them, and I'm a big dog person, so that was a good choice for me. And I had a rough career choice, and a lot of those modules aligned with what I wanted to do. And then on the last aspect, the dissertation side of things, I knew that I really wanted to pursue something that I was interested in, and I wanted it to be my own piece of work. And I got the sense from talking to people that I would be supported in that, and I would be allowed to do my own research, not a piece of research that the supervisor needed doing and needed someone to do it. So that and the general, more non-psychology things about whole, just the campus being nice. It's a city campus, but it's still all together. That really mattered to me. I didn't like some city campuses I looked at, you had just buildings randomly on the street. There was a university building, and that didn't really appeal to me. I wanted to be in a central place, but it still be fairly pretty. Nice green areas, but not like just completely having to walk like 10 miles to get to your lecture theatre, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's really nice feedback, and I'm glad to hear that that comes across on open days. Because I think that's a really nice thing about our department. The other thing I think is quite special about Hull that I'd like the students' opinion on is sort of our personal supervisor system.
Oh, yeah.
So when you come in, joining us in foundation year or first year, you're typically assigned a member of academic staff who sort of becomes your kind of personal to-go person. So they'll be teaching you in small groups, but then they're also sort of there for pastoral and more general academic support on a one-to-one basis as well. So does anyone have any experiences with personal supervisors?
Yeah, so I'll start. So I actually started with a foundation year. I've added a year to my degree beforehand, because I'd been 5 years out of education. I thought I'd do a foundation year to get myself back into the swing of things, and I'm really glad I did, because I learned how to learn effectively. I learned how to get around campus. I made friends, but part of that was starting that relationship with your personal supervisor, getting to know them, and understanding how that's going to work. So they see you through every year of your degree. So I'm in my 4th year now, including that foundation year, and I regularly go for meetings. Even if there's nothing to discuss, it's a good contact point, and it's someone who's invested in your learning, who has the answers to what it is, or can signpost you to where you need to be. And it's just really nice to have that personal contact with someone who's invested And more so through COVID, we kept up with video calls with all our tutor group. There'll have been maybe 8 of us. And it was nice to have that small cohort where we're all invested in each other and helping each other along. And yeah, I found it really helpful. And then especially in your final year, you get a dissertation supervisor as well. So to double that support is, I've had it as a bit of a crutch really. I'm leaning on it. I really appreciate the help that lecturers do give out. And you can walk down that office corridor and just knock on anyone's door, and you know that there's help through there. So I've definitely made the most of that, and I really appreciate the support we've all been given, really.
And definitely from a staff point of view, it's really lovely to get to see students develop over the time, and you're marking their work and sort of being able to work with them on, their areas for improvement, and seeing them do their first presentation in first year, rabbit in the headlights, to then doing a really confident poster presentation in third year. It's really nice to genuinely feel rooted in those students' success.
Well, my academic support tutor is sitting across from me. So my question to you is, how was it from a tutor's perspective?
From a tutor's perspective,
seeing someone, obviously you've known me for quite a while now.
yeah, I'm proud of you. That's all I can say. I think, yes, really. I mean, I met you when you were a first year student. You were in my tutor group, and I picked up that you were really articulate, right, and you were just absorbing information and wanted to get on, and you were super organized. I was really impressed by that, and obviously everything needs a little bit of polishing and development, but it was just an absolute pleasure to help you develop. And now I see you, and you are a PhD student, and you will complete this, and maybe you will become a fantastic researcher, which I very much hope so. That's the avenue for you, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it was one of your the recommendation that you gave, that you wrote for me, that got me onto my master's course. So thanks in response.
This is actually a good point, because when you apply for master courses, so postgraduate courses, or for graduate level jobs, often you need 2 academic references. One will usually come from your dissertation supervisor, because that's the person that knows how you worked with you for a year. And the second one is usually coming from your personal tutor, who knows you for a period of 3 years, marked you. So both referees can write about you as a person. And that increases your chances to be accepted to whatever you apply for. So I think having the tutor system in place is also important for actually facilitating the next steps in the careers of our students once they graduated.
And what about you, Liam? You're in your second year of uni. How did you find having a personal supervisor in your first year?
I mean, having a personal supervisor from like day one to your final day is really good, because they're with you from like all the time, and you basically become this close-knit community, because there's usually about 8 to 12 of you in a personal supervision group. So like if you don't have anybody else to go to, you can always go to them, which is really nice. I remember for like the first semester of first year, we all hung out basically nearly every day, which is really, really nice. And then they can also helps like build your confidence if you're struggling to find more friends, which was kind of my case, which is really, really nice.
I think that's a good point, is that opportunity for getting social support. Coming to campus, especially if you're not from here, having that is crucial. So it's kind of a way for you to connect with people that are studying the same thing and going through just what you're going through.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was kind of the opposite, because I was, like I said, born in Hull. But I think because of that, and because I didn't move out, and obviously you do normally sort of meet people in accommodation, and that's how you make friends, I think I was kind of like worried that I wouldn't like meet people in my first year. So like you say, having that group of people that you're always sort of regularly seeing is really helpful, and just reassuring to know that there's always going to be like a familiar face, particularly in a degree like psychology, where it's quite a big cohort, because I think there was about 250 people on my course. So you sort of see people every week, and you don't recognise them from the past lectures, but there's always that group of people that are familiar to you. So
Always nice to have a friendly face.
yeah, exactly.
Don't know if it's just because it's a sort of a people-based course, but I always find the students on this course are really friendly and really open to conversation, sort of thing. It's quite easy to find that peer
Yeah.
support. I feel like everyone's quite approachable, and yeah, I've always found that that's been a really nice part of it, is being able to turn around in your lecture and say, well, how are you finding this assignment, or is there any help that you can pass on to
Yeah,
these
I
people?
think that there was a sort of group of girls that I met in my first couple of weeks, and they're genuinely still my best friends now. And we're talking 6 years ago that I met them, so that's really nice that, you know, that's how we all sort of met and
Yeah.
became friends.
So would you like to share your experiences about any kind of pivotal moments in your studies here at the university?
I think for me, like, I was in the same boat as Ellie. Like, for me, I've always felt like Hull has been the right place. I've enjoyed it all of my time being here, which has been really, really nice. I mean, it is quite stressful sometimes, because sometimes you're going to be up till like 3 a.m. in the library writing this essay, but it's good stress because it gets you used to like experiences in the future, which is really, really helpful. But it's also really good because like you learn from it, and university overall is just a really good place, as you know, you get a lot from it. Not just, you're not just there for an education, you're there for everything, like friends and stuff. It's all really, really helpful for like life.
Definitely. I think you definitely get life skills out of coming to university. You meet a lot of different kinds of people, different beliefs, different, you know, any of that is really great in terms of, you know, socializing yourselves to society.
I don't know whether you have been to Hull before Tom started to study here, and I wonder what you thought about Hull before Tom made his decision, and since he studied here, whether your view of Hull has changed.
Well, no, we'd never been to Hull before we come to Tom's open day, and I was quite pleasantly surprised when we drove through Cottenham with the green leafy lanes and all that. It was very, very nice. I have worked with people that live in the area, and obviously as parents we were quite anxious about Tom moving away so far from us. We wasn't concerned about the academic side, but more his well-being. Has he got access to a doctor, dentist? You know,
And he didn't know anybody, did he?
not knowing anyone. But right from day one, communicated through Tom, we knew he was getting good support at the university. As it's been mentioned before, Hull's quite a friendly place, and we didn't have any qualms about Tom going out. As long as, you know, safety in numbers and all that, he went out as a group with other students. When he's needed the doctors, all that support has been there, and you know.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any particular areas you like to go when you visit Tom in Hull?
Mandy does like Beverly.
I do like Beverly.
Cut.
Yeah.